Welcome to the Silver Screen Project, where we look back at a series of films in anticipation of an exciting new cinema release.
In preparation for the brand new Halloween Ends, we went back and watched Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and now it's here. Halloween Ends.
It
We
is.
finally made it.
Yeah.
And on Halloween as well, which is perfect. What did you think of Halloween Ends, Sam?
Well, my note that I wrote says, I guess that's one way to end it.
Okay, I just wrote down that this might be the worst film I've seen this year. And I've watched a lot of shit this year.
Yes, we have. Yeah. I mentioned last time that the Halloween Kills wasn't very satisfying, and I think this one takes the biscuit with that one. It is
Yes.
the most unsatisfying film I've ever watched, I think.
So to do a bit of non-spoilery stuff before we get
Yes.
into the feel of it, it's nonsense. It's just nonsense.
It's not at all what I expected, and not in a good way.
Yeah, the first half of the film doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
And then spoilers.
Well,
I'm sure everyone's heard about that if they're at all interested in it.
And then it just gets worse from there.
Yeah,
it's genuinely, and it makes some decisions with some characters that are. I'm not even a huge slasher fan or a Halloween fan, and I was like, this is dumb. This is not how this should play out at all.
No, the character choices. It is set at a time after. We can say it's 4 years after the 2018 one. Characters have moved on, but they've also just completely changed who they are as people.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like the same series at all.
Nope,
and it feels so separate that they do a recap in the first bit in case anyone hasn't seen the last two.
Yeah.
I guess that's just because they want it to be palatable for like an average cinema goer, but it just makes it seem like they're trying to separate from two pretty good films.
And like, I know this isn't the case for this, but there's lots of parts of this where it feels like that classic, there was a script for a film and then they rewrote parts and folded it into a bigger franchise.
Yeah.
And I really hated all of that stuff.
Yes, yeah, me too. And it weirdly felt like they were trying to set up for future films and yet then put a very definitive end.
Yeah.
Like as if they couldn't make their mind up, as if they wanted to set up a new bad guy for future films, and then they just kind of cut that branch off and go, no, actually not.
We're not
I don't know if this is supposed to be like subverting expectations in a fun way, but it just felt like, this is what you wanted, but we're going to show you about 2 minutes of it, and the rest of it's going to be just a different film.
Yeah, and it was a completely different film.
Was,
the character, as you said, the characters are different. The feeling around it was different,
and
as
it's
well.
the same director throughout all three as well, which is just absolutely bizarre.
And both the original 1978 Halloween and the first of this series.
Yeah,
part of what's great about it is this load of killings in one night thing, and this film does it. This seems to be spread over weeks.
It doesn't tell you when it starts, and I'm like, so it's Halloween now? Oh no. And then suddenly it goes Halloween night, and it's 2/3 of the way through the film.
Yeah,
it is just bizarre. It's very, very bizarre. There is some good stuff though about it, and I guess we'll go into spoilers now, and we can talk about a bit of the bits that we did like. So the fact that they did set it 4 years later, Laurie's like becoming like a more normal grandmother. She's trying to enjoy Halloween as this cutesy, like she's trying to do a pie, but she's obviously really bad at it because she spent 40 years shooting guns instead.
Yeah,
I like that, and I like the place it starts, but it so quickly changes into something else.
Yeah, so the opening scene is like Halloween 2019. We've got a babysitter.
Yes, yeah. Corey.
Okay. Yeah, Corey. I was gonna say it's a negative, but also it's dumb leaving your kid alone on Halloween night, knowing what happens in this town on Halloween night.
Literally the previous night there was like 15-20 kills as deaths.
Oh, was it? I think the year. I think it's a year later.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the previous year there was all this stuff, and they're just like, it's fine. No, way more, because it's the two first ones. So it's like 40 kills.
Yeah,
40 people died, and then the killer was never caught, and they're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. But I did like how that babysitting scene kind of twisted the expectations with the babysitter killing the kid.
Yeah, and you feel like it's going to be Michael Myers is going to turn up, and it's like that's the obvious setup, but
it's not. And I quite like that twist and like them getting home with the kid on.
Yeah, and I can see what they're trying to do because they move forward from that, and it's like he's this pariah and he's misunderstood, and that links in with the Strode family, and they've got this dark history, and it's like the two dark horses are together and all this, and I can see what they were doing, but it just doesn't work at all.
It was boring.
It was fucking boring.
My only other positive thing to say is that I enjoyed that Laurie got him in the end.
That final
kitchen
scene
bit
was
with
really
him
good.
pinned down and then the fridge.
It's so intense. Like some of the goriness and just like the blood. I liked it because it's kind of what's missing from the rest of this film. And we talked last episode about how the final 10 minutes of that film felt separate. It's the same with this in a way. It's like they wanted to get to this and they didn't know how to. So they just meandered through like a teen drama / slightly horrific film, and then ended up in this scene, which is really good. She's wearing like the original blue shirt. Like she's got the hair, which is similar. And she's like on the back foot again because she hasn't been training and stuff. I really, really liked a lot of that, but it's so starkly different from everything else. Yeah.
So shall we go into the things?
Should we talk about the whole Corey thing?
Yes.
Because that's the thrust of this film for some reason.
Firstly, I can't believe he's not in prison, even if it's for like manslaughter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised he's not
I
in
thought
prison.
maybe he'd been in for a bit, but he seems to have got off completely. Yeah.
But his entire story and character arc is boring.
It is. It's really weird. It feels at one point like the kind of evil has gone into him, but then it's still with Michael. And we talked a little about the supernatural. I think it's clear there's something going on in this.
Yeah, and we first see Michael when he goes down into the sewer. And stuff.
The murder hole. Yeah.
And they kind of have an interaction there. And I wrote down, if this kid becomes Michael Myers' apprentice, I'm fucking done.
Yeah, and they're tag teaming, and he's doing most of the kills throughout. It's just ridiculous.
That doesn't fit with what we've seen Michael Myers.
No.
He's not the guy that's suddenly like, I'm going to train an apprentice and show him how I do it. It doesn't make it. I understand the kid wanting to be like Michael Myers because he's become the pariah and stuff. But why the fuck is Michael Myers doing this?
But the thing is, it's not even like he feels forced into this. Like he kills. So the homeless guy that he kills first of all is kind of an accident, but he keeps stabbing him. Like it's not. Yeah. It's like it was always there with him, and it's just they don't really ever decide whether this kid is good or bad until it's too late, and then he's already done like 10 kills, and you're like, well, he can't come back from this now. And I really thought it was going to set up to him being the new bad guy, and Michael Myers being like this Godzilla character who comes along and sorts it out. But they don't even do that. Like at least that would have been something. It's so silly.
I feel like that sewer scene in any other Halloween film, that kid gets murdered there and then, right?
Yeah.
Michael Myers doesn't, and like the whole thing before with Michael Myers is that his kills are seemingly random. He often pops out of Laurie, but they kind of addressed in the last one it was actually the doctor that kept dragging him to Laurie and that kind of thing. It is a lot of it is just he kills whoever he can.
Whoever's in his path.
Whereas this, they seem to pick people out. They pick the doctors. They kill people that Corey doesn't like.
Yeah, people that have like upset Allison, his new girlfriend, who is so oblivious to the fact this guy is like just
unhinged.
Completely unhinged. There's a point where Laurie's like, don't go out with him, he's bad. And she does the movie thing where she doesn't tell him the most compelling evidence that he was sleeping on the bloodied area of the floor where he killed the boy. Something like that would raise some alarm bells with most people. And she doesn't tell her because plot reasons. It's just,
and that bit where they kill the doctors and Corey's not as good, get kind of locked out. And I was like, okay, he's not as good as Michael. And then Michael Myers is there.
Did they communicate? Did they plan it?
Yeah, I literally out loud went, oh, fuck off.
And that kill is quite good where he pins the woman to the painting. Yeah. But I think that might be one of the only kills he does.
Yeah.
He does like one or two more.
And it feels like he's doing that because Corey's been like, hey, they've planned out, hey, I want to kill these people, come with me. Michael's like, yeah, okay, that sounds like fun.
We're okay.
And it's like, this doesn't feel like Michael Myers at all.
No. I mean, on the topic, we talked last about the supernatural element, and we do have a little bit of that where he's quite frail and he's almost being like beaten, Michael, when he's in the sewer. And I like when he killed the guy and you can see him kind of almost powering up. It's very silly, but I like that there was some continuation of that from the last 10 minutes of the previous film.
Yeah,
but they don't know where that fits into the kind of mythos that they've stumbled into here.
Yeah, like I still don't know where I sit on the magic stuff, because it could just be that he feels empowered through murder, and after 4 years, someone bringing it to him gets him back in the groove a bit.
It looked very physical in that he almost like his bones popped back into place, like he became young again. But then like he's killed quite easily at the end. They just like drain him of his blood, and we've got to talk about the weird parade state funeral they do.
Oh my god,
it's so fucking weird.
What the fuck?
I understand that it's like everyone who's been affected wants to see that he's gone. But it was like, at one point, I'm like, right, is he going to wake up, pull Laurie in with him?
Yeah.
It's macabre and it's just fucked up.
And it goes on for ages with him tied up. And then you get like 100 cars
and the sheriff's
through.
like, no, we're doing this. It's like, oh yeah, I remember you from the 5 minutes you're in the previous two films.
He was like, no, we're not doing this. But yeah, and I get that they wanted to have like Michael's fully dead by putting him in the grinder thing. Yeah. But you can do that without having a whole the whole town coming out for a celebration.
It's very, and it is like I say, a state funeral. Like it's like you say, all the cars following, and they're all just like it misses the tone of like they don't want to celebrate it, but it just. I don't know how we were supposed to feel about that. And the tone is all over the place in this, because we get like the really intense like romance in the first like 40 minutes, and you spoke about the first act where we don't see any Michael at all, and it's like they go through this whole relationship in like 2 days, and I guess that's the point. It's like a whirlwind romance and she's sucked into it. But then we get the point at the end where it really feels like Laurie's going to kill herself, and I was like, holy fuck, is this how this is going to end?
I thought that that switch, that bait and switch was so dumb.
But also, how did he know that she called the police? I don't understand. Was he just waiting there and he came? I don't.
At first, I was like, Laurie committing suicide seems very out of character and very dumb. Yes. And then when it was like a switch and she was like, haha, I wasn't really going to do it. Like you said, how the fuck did Michael know that she'd done that?
And then we get like, he kills himself so that like he's effectively framing her, and she knows the car's outside and she grabs the knife and then suddenly goes, oh no, now it looks like I murdered him. And it's like, come on, like it's so obvious.
I thought it was so dumb that her granddaughter caught her with a knife over her boyfriend when they'd already had a bit of an argument.
Even though Michael's mask, that's like very recognizable as the same one, is just there next to him. He's wearing the Michael Myers outfit. Yeah. Like it just maybe
their relationship is really stupid in this.
It's really strained for no reason.
And then that bit where she's like, oh my god, you killed my boyfriend. And then the next time you see her, she's like, I'm with you, Laurie, because we got the bad guys. And it's like, what the fuck's happening here? There's so much about their relationship in this film that is nonsense. And then the one scene that would make sense of them reconnecting, it's not in it.
No. Well, she comes and helps her against Michael, but
they've already kind of got back together at that point.
It doesn't really. Yeah, and the actress who plays Allison is really, really bad in this.
She was quite good in the first one. She was quite good in the
first one. She didn't get much to do in the second one. She just followed people around. In this one, they made her like, I suppose she's supposed to be traumatized and kind of excited by danger, but she's super forward, and it's like, good for you. Like, if you like this guy, go for it. But then like they just make her like super horny by everything, and it's like it doesn't feel like the same character. I know it's 4 years, but nothing excited happening. It's a frustrating film because there was a lot of potential, especially the reset with the 4 years. Have another thing happen, and I guess they don't want to retread it, but just think of a different way rather than having like a guy who is not Michael Myers, who's like small, manages to like steal his mask.
He's got a different mask, I think.
No, he takes the mask off him in the sewers, and then Michael's just lying there. It's the same mask, because then he comes back for it, and that's why he fights Laurie. So there is there's a lot of. It's like it was bullet pointed out, and then they just filled in the blanks with like generic shit, basically.
Yeah, it was like proper horrendous. We said when we did the first Halloween 2018 one that I don't watch too many horror films to get scared easy. This was a fucking breeze, because the whole 2 hours I'm just like, that is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't ever scared at any point in this film. So I was just pissed off with
because
how bad
a lot of
it was.
because we're seeing it from Corey's perspective, a lot of it. We're like, okay, you're murdering someone. I don't know how we're supposed to feel. It's obviously awful, but it's like there's no unknown, there's no mystery. And like even with the kills, we spoke about in the previous one, there's a lot of stuff off screen, which is frustrating. In this, we get it like in weird foreground focus. There's a bit in the junkyard where he puts the blowtorch in someone's mouth. And you're like, that's an intense kill, but we don't see it. Yeah. We can see like a blurred. Then out of nowhere, we get the kill in the radio station, which is like super intense. And he cuts the guy's tongue off. And it's like going around. Like it's so all over the place, this film. It's unbearable.
Yeah. So, yeah. I reckon like we've covered some shit on this series, the Silver Screen Project. This is probably the worst.
I'd say this is the worst.
Really, it's one of the worst. I've got a couple of bits of trivia. You've got
I've got one bit of trivia, but it's just the director also did Pineapple Express.
Okay. So last time you guessed there was 30 murders in this, and there was actually 27. Do you want to have a guess at this one?
Like 15, I don't know.
18.
Yeah, the other way around there.
Yes,
it's not as many because there wasn't any rampages. It was like you say, it was just little weird revenge killings that.
Yeah. The other one I've got is that when asked whether this film would be the final film in the series, producer Jason Blum confirmed there will probably be more films because Malik Akkad has a clause prohibiting Michael Myers to be killed, and he's like, what happens, whatever. And he's like, future films will probably be a separate continuity because he definitely died in this.
That's exactly what I said when I was watching it. I was like, this, they so clearly put like an end to this series as it is, but there's no way they're not going to make another Halloween film.
It's weird because like the Halloween films kept getting sequels until like the early 2000s. And then they had a soft reboot of the Rob Zombie films, which people talk about. But I feel like this trilogy were kind of really impressive. People were talking about this. People were hyped about it.
I think because especially with Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, it feels like it's and I feel like with such a
definitive end to Michael Myers, it's going to be really weird and hard to then, actually, forget those 3 films with Jamie Lee Curtis. He's back again. We're doing it again. It's now 50 years in the future.
I think what they'll probably do is like have it, like you say, set in the same universe, but just be like, Laurie's not there, she's dead, or something like that, and keep it separate enough that we can effectively ignore the last film. Kind of like with X-Men or Transformers, where it's like it's vaguely in the same thing.
For a film series that's got like 15 films or something in it, this has a very apt title of Halloween Ends, because I would not be surprised if they never touch this again.
This should be Halloween Kills itself as a franchise.
Yes. So the only thing left to ask is, did this film live up to the hype? You were Proj with Halloween, No for Halloween Kills. I was Proj for both. Did this live up to your hype?
I don't think you need to ask that. It's a definitive No.
Yes, this is the most definitive No that anyone has ever spoken. But yes, hopefully you enjoyed this rambling rant that we both had about this awful film more than we enjoyed the film. I enjoyed talking about it, but God, it was bad. But yes, thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure.
Mm-hmm. If you want to hear more stuff like this, check out the Project. We're on Spotify and everything else.
Bye, Michael Myers forever.
Bye.
Bye.